Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So I want to do a comparison of generals. So I'm going to look at obviously the two new ground generals that are being offered, and they're pairing, and basically there's no arguments. Everybody's been saying these are the best two ground pairing generals that you can have together, and I'm going to compare them to a past top pairing and see just how much someone is diluted in about a year's time. So there are other generals. People have basically, said before this event that the top general was, is it Matilda? Let me see if I can find Matides, whatever his name is in my inventory. I have him somewhere. But I'm going to be using the ones that I use as my ground generals. And here he is, Melades. I wasn't even close. I was kind of close. There's a T, Miltiades. Anyways, I put about 5 attempts into pronouncing his name correctly. I hope one of them was correct. So this guy is basically thought of as the end-all be-all for ground generals until this event. So there are people who are using better ground general pairings than what I've been using. But mine was the top about 10 months ago. So I want to compare that. So I have General Forkbeard, and lots of people have him as their ground general. So where are you hiding? Here he is. So he's very good, and we'll go through him in a minute. And I do always just look at that sword and wonder if I should just make the better Civ Gear sword. And then I have Suchet as the partner. So Suchet came out before Fork. Suchet came out almost a year ago, probably about 11 months ago, when Napoleon event ran a year ago for the 7th anniversary. They had a second Napoleon event, and then Suchet was offered in it. But it wasn't until about a couple events later that Forkbeard, a ground pairing, was released. And then they worked together. I think I'm right on that. I don't think they were released in the same event. But it doesn't matter. These guys, as a pairing, are almost a year old, probably about 10 months old, so I want to compare them. And now the new generals are, let's take a look at them. They're in here. And there's this guy, Narcissus. Quite the name. And he's awesome. And then you pair him with this lady here. What's her name? Lucilla. She's basically the lady that Maximus was having an affair with, who was Joaquin Phoenix's sister, who he also wanted to have an affair with. She was quite the wanted lady, and I haven't seen the new film, but it looks like she's in it again. Anyways, it's good that they have some holdover characters. Anyways, we're going to look at her. I might as well look at her now because she's here. So for the sake of this, she's going to be the assistant, just like Suchet is my assistant. So we will not be counting the ascensions in this. So we'll be counting this at the top, and then all of these, and the Covenant. Because if you're going to get her and use her as assistant, that's what's going to help for you. And then over here, we're going to be using everything with him to count them up. So this is all of his stuff. We'll just go through it quickly. You can look at it, and it looks pretty good. Looks very strong. Especially, I love the 10th star. Ground tack 40 and march size 8%. Very strong. And then Covenant, also very nice stuff. And yeah, and you know what? The thing is, if you're going to get him and use him, you basically have to get Lucilla because she's in his Covenant. And I've done a video before. You cannot max out a Covenant without having all 3. You can do it with dragons, but then you eventually are going to take the dragons off because these other 2 generals aren't going to be using a dragon every day for you unless you get really, really lucky. So then you lose it. I hate that. You shouldn't lose the Covenant once you open it. Anyways, one thing that is absolutely amazing in this is look at this stuff. 140, 138, 138. And all of them are going up. 931, 924, 944. I'm going to show you in the tavern here. We're just going to look quickly. We'll just look in Europe because that's where all the good generals are. and we'll scroll right to the bottom. So let's look at Matilda's. Like, look at this. This was the old top ground general from like a couple weeks ago, and not even close. 121 at an 878 clip. All the others are much, much lower. Suchit is much lower. So these new generals are coming out with really, really high core attributes. I know some people say like, hey, but when you add them up at the end, it only amounts to like 5 or 8%. But I don't know. Evony has some weird math, and they got some behind the scenes. I've heard rumors that they have like epic premium general or epic general or premium general, and they're multipliers that we don't see, and they change things. It's rumors. No one knows. And then there's this guy right here. And anyways, you could see that those core attributes are lower. So let's go to my general comparisons. And so what I did here, I left them empty so you can look and kind of view them on yourselves, which is the better pairing. So if we look at this, so these two are the assistants, right? So one of those is going to be Suchit, and one of them is going to be Lucilla. And then these ones, one is going to be Forkbeard, and one is going to be the new guy, Narcissus. So now let's take a look and see which one do you think is better. So the top one has, it adds up to, as the lead general, 20 more attack, 15 more defense, and 15 more HP, but he loses 10% HP. And then when we go to the assistant, I can't say he or she because there's one of each. And if you look at the second assistant, 30 more attack, 10 less and 20 less on defense and HP. And 5 less on march size. So now to make things easier, I've added up both generals in the pairings. So we have a final column now. So the final column is here, and you could do a full comparison. And we basically end up with really kind of a tie in everything except march size. So 306 to 316 within 10. Defense within 25. And then HP within 35. Kind of getting bigger there, but still not that big. But march size 15%. So if you haven't guessed it already, at the bottom here, those are the old generals, and this is the new ones. Put the N in there. So at the top is the ones that are available now, and this is basically the exact way that they made the original Napoleon Prime and Messina outdated. The attack, defense, HP buffs aren't all that different, but when you compare them against Washington Prime and his partner, I can't remember the name right now, but Marco Polo, but the march size is the major difference. So that seems to be how Evony is diluting old generals now. They used to just do it with insane buffs, and now they're doing it with march size and core attributes. But the actual buff percentages that you see remain pretty similar. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is this a big difference? I personally don't feel the need to upgrade every single time there's a new general, especially for something like 10 or 15% march size. I understand that is a big deal, but the way the game is now with rally attacks, we're filling up our rally capacity, and no matter whose troops it is, it's getting filled. I just think I have other places in my keep that I can use Blood of Ares and that sort of assets to improve. But I do totally understand that there is a big component of the game that is march size, and I am missing out on it when I don't do those upgrades. So maybe in one more year, when my generals are now 30% behind instead of 12 to 15%, then I'll look at doing it. So anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and subscribe, leave a comment.